Well, it's lining up, the neck lines up left to right, so this gets good spacing at the edge, and it's clocking in right at about 1.4 mil action at the 24th. I haven't set the truss rod flat yet though. Better do that now. Okay, I've got some strings on it, and the string alignment was looking good, so I went ahead and tightened up the neck bolts nice and snug, and set the truss rod so the fret plane is flat and it doesn't wiggle and it doesn't rock. And so that's all nice and flat. And now I need to bring it up to tension and check and see what the final action height is. When I put on the first string and just kind of tighten it up a little bit, it was clocking at like 1.4, and I'm shooting for like 1.4, 1.5, something in that range. Looks like I was a little bit off when I marked out the theoretical saddle line, because I've got it here, and that's where it should be. Yeah, off by 20 centimeters or something. But number 1 and number 6 are intonated and tuned up, so the rest of these should be pretty close. The action turned out to be 2.2 millimeters, so I'm going to need to loosen up the strings, pop this thing out, and sand off a little bit of wood from the bridge blocks. And there's also a bit of a clearance issue with the corner of this leg bar extension because of the location of the bridge. So I'll need to grab the handsaw and just kind of lop that little corner off so it'll fit. Okay, now the leg bar fits and just barely clears the bridge. Okay, action here was 2.2 millimeters, and I'm shooting for 1.5, so I'm going to drop it 7/10 of a mil. And this is 3/4 of the scale length, so if I want to drop it 7/10 at 3/4, I crunch the numbers, and at full length, it's 4/3 of that, which is 9.3 repeating. So I need to take about 9/10 of a mil off the bridge height. Okay, after sanding the bridge and tuning it back up again, it's clocking in at 14 and a half, which is right about perfect. So that takes care of the bridge height and the saddle height adjustment, and put it back pretty much where it was. It was even with the back of this leg bar extension here, more or less. So intonation ought to be almost perfect. Still actually haven't checked the 4 inner strings, but they'll be close. So at this point, I think it's all tuned up and stuff here. So yeah, at this point, I think it's operating acoustically. And so, yeah, it's time to get some pickups going and start playing around with those. Okay, I think I've got everything I need here in order to start testing the pickups. Got the 2 pickups and the jack and the transmitter to go to the amp and a bunch of gear clips in order to hook it all together. And I think I'll start with 2 pickups in series and put one like here and one like here, and have it go like maybe part way towards the number 3 and have this go part way towards number 4, something like that, and wire them in series, see what that's like. Another thing I want to try is I want to try one here and another one just straight across in a bridge position. See what that, get back over there. Yeah, one straight across in a bridge position and see what that looks like or sounds like. I mean, yeah, so that could be kind of interesting. And then you put a depth pickguard in between, an L-shaped depth pickguard in between. But in the end, it'll probably end up. Last time I did this, I was playing with single coils, and it turned out that the best voicing for that particular build was kind of like this. A giant 12-pole pickup, and they were wired in parallel, and they were single coils, and that gave the guitar the best voicing. So it might end up that sounding best. But also, see, before I was just playing with that in order to see what sounded best. And this time I'm going to specifically try to go for a scooped kind of a tone. Okay, while I'm figuring out what I want to do with these, I'm just going to use the camera mic. I'm not going to bother like putting it on the audio interface and recording it on the DAW. So until I'm done, and then I'll put it on the DAW. But yeah, so I got to turn the amp up some more. So, but all you'll hear is camera mic. So it might sound a little weird because this mic really sucks. Okay, I've got them set up as you see them and hooked up in series. And number 5 string's nice and loud. Number 1's okay. Can't hear number 2 at all, really. This is tilted like this, kind of an idea, because of the wire. So these are obviously going to need some shims to get them to sit flat and also leave room for the wire, which kind of sticks out at the bottom there. So yeah, I can see if I slide this over so to the high side of the pickup. Now you got your number 2 string and a little bit of the number 3. So, yeah, these are pretty sensitive to height, and they're pretty close to the strings right now. It could be an issue. I might have to route little channels through the wire or something in order to get them to sit flush. But yeah, so shims are something they're called for, and now here you don't hear the number 3 at all, and you just barely hear number 4. 5's strong, 6 is not so strong, but then 5 is the one that sits up higher, is the side of the pickup that sits up higher. So, yeah, I think I'll start with a bit of shim and see what that gets me. Okay, I've put 2 mil of shim on the bottom of each of these, and now they'll sit flat with the wire there and everything, but the clearance on them is like 0, and yeah, if you go like this way, the rails are pretty much touching the strings, so I'm going to need to put 2 mil of shim at the bridge, and then make up for that with something like a 1/2 mil here at the neck to correct the action. So I'll start with 2 mil here, and that'll allow me to play with the pickups with the action a little bit high, and then I can play the shim game on the neck in order to fix the action. Once I figure out what I want to do with pickups. Depending on where I end up putting them, I might move them up or down, or move the bridge up or down, or something. So, yeah, I'll shim the neck too. For wherever the bridge ends up, I'll shim the neck later.